Hi, it's Melchor Moore and welcome to my channel. First things first, I'd like you to subscribe so that people who would not normally see this video are able to see it. It's something with the algorithm on YouTube. If you're already subscribed to this channel, you know that I'm an artist and that I also run a podcast on YouTube. I interview artists and industry professionals regarding the business of the art world. So it should come to no surprise to you that on my LinkedIn page, it refers to me as an art dealer. The use of the title art dealer is what must have brought my name to the attention of Benjamin Noonan. Benjamin Noonan sent me a connection request on LinkedIn, and when I went to his page, I see that his description is connecting buyers and sellers with major works of art and numismatic finest coins. It looks like since the first time that he and I connected, that Worthington Galleries is no longer under the description of his current place of work, but it does show that he worked there in the past. Worthington Galleries, if I go to their website, I do see some old coins and some digital images of paintings in frames, so no problem there. I allowed the connection and he and I are now connected. So then I received a message from Mr. Noonan and it says, "Hi, do you help with major works of art that are accidentally discovered?" And I said, "How do you mean? Something specific?" He says, "I believe that I have found a Leonardo da Vinci master painting in a European art collection back in 2018. At which point I sent him a link to my YouTube and I said, "Do you want to interview? See if we can move it? You found it or you own it?" Question mark. He says, "Yes, I own it. Bought it from a European antique dealer. No one knew it was going to be a major work of art. The family couldn't find the papers for the 5 works of art they sold him. I have had many different offers for it, but I'm not sure how serious this were. Yesterday, I was offered 10 million euros, but it's possibly worth hundreds of millions. I'd take anything north of 30 for it." The fellow verbally authenticated it, that the 4th art person to say it has merit. The wealthy family likely had it in their collection for centuries, passed down through the generations. Then I said, "So, do you want to interview on Wednesday? Can you have the painting behind you while we record? I take 10% if I find you a buyer." He says, "I'm still amazed that I ended up with this." I said, "Yeah. This is amazing. I'm so excited." He says, "I have it in the bank vault, as you can imagine. Carrying around a $500 million USD painting is not a good idea." And he sent me an image of what... Now remember, I am not an art historian. I could not pick a Leonardo da Vinci out of like a lineup, unless it's the Michelangelo. I don't even really know what a Leonardo da Vinci looks like. And he says, "It's a different pose likely of the Mona Lisa. My best guess." And I say, "Understood. How will we feature the image in a YouTube interview? What's your schedule for Wednesday?" So I already know what I'm going to do is I'm overlaying this image into the video here as you can see it now. And he says, "I've looked deeply into this work of art. It has a similar background to another Da Vinci master painting. I've been working nights." And I said, "I'd love to have you interview." And he says, "Sure. I also have a Dutch master painting, a possible David Teniers, 1600s. I'm on Eastern time sometimes and on Central some time when I get home." I said, "What time is good for you?" He says, "Afternoon, 4 p.m. on." I said, "Central or Eastern?" He says, "I don't have the papers for it because they couldn't find them. I did ask several times for them. They have been lost. I'm on Eastern right now, working. It's a small painting about 6 inches in height by 4 inches wide." He said, "Best possible results would be to private sale it and just get cash offer for it. If I could get its papers, it would be worth hundreds of millions." And I said, 4 p.m. Eastern or Central on Wednesday. What's your email to send you the link for the interview? He sends this email. This is blurred out. I don't want you to have it. And I said, "Okay, I sent you the link for a 4:30 Eastern interview. Will that work?" I said, "Do you have any images of the Dutch painting?" He says, "Yes." And he sends me these images here. It's a painting in a gilded frame, some sort of crating box with, it looks like he's showing me the canvas. He says the previous Christie's stamping from a major auction is visible. So I don't know what Christie's stamping looks like, but he says the previous Christie's stamping from a major auction is visible on the back of the work. It been related and very well taken care of, relined asterisks. Oh, so it been related. He says it's been relined and very well taken care of, probably worth 4 to 6, I imagine. I said see you tomorrow at 4:30. He says okay. And then let's see how this goes.
Hey, finally.
Hey, nice to
Hey.
see you.
Yeah, I was like really struggling with this thing, trying to get it to work.
Yeah. All right, so Benjamin Noonan,
Yeah.
you're an art dealer?
No, I just an art collector.
You're an art collector.
I,
You're
I only I only connect people that buy and sell major works of art, and I do some collecting of art for myself.
oh
So I
yeah.
collect the best of the best. When I was working for a gallery for a little while, putting art in their gallery for about a year or two, I would occasionally keep a piece of the art that I really like just for my collection, and that's how I ended up with all these just amazing works of art.
So you were working at Worthington Galleries in Kentucky, but you're no longer there?
Yeah, I was in Tennessee, just across the border into Tennessee, and yeah, I was working to put paintings in their gallery, and we were sometimes. I mean, I sold like a $13,000 painting and stuff like that, so it was worth it for me. I was making really good money doing it, and then I would use some of that money sometimes and buy more paintings, put it in the gallery to make even more money. But if I got a painting that was really astounding, I would just keep it,
And
and so that's
so
how I
you
ended up with an amazing paintings.
you sent me an image of what you're saying is a Leonardo da Vinci.
Well, I suspect that it is, and I've had 4 experts tell me they also think it's, very significant. Yes.
So I'm curious as how you connected with me rather than going through those Da Vinci experts.
They were only willing to say that they believe that it is. They're not helping me sell it. That's where, see, the gallery I was working for had closed down, so I stopped working for them because of that. That COVID shut everything down,
Okay,
the virus.
back in
Yeah.
March.
Yeah, they shut down, and so I stopped working with them after that, and I started driving a truck.
And so
So
how did you come across this Da Vinci?
okay, so I bought it in an online auction from a European antique dealer who bought it from a wealthy European family. He had 5 paintings that day. Okay, and they all looked like master paintings in my opinion. And I've seen like millions of paintings because I was doing this as a side business for the gallery, and I started learning things because of that. And then all I know is it was the best one of the 5 that he had, and I was like, I had to have it. So I saved all my pennies and bought it, so to speak.
How much did you pay for it?
It was I'll just say it was 2 months salary. So and then once I was able to buy it, I started suspecting that it was something very major. Even at the moment that I bought it, I suspected it was done by a major hand. But that's all I knew at the time was it's beautiful and it was probably done by a major hand. I was blown away when they told me when I took it to the appraiser. He told me that in his opinion, it was the long lost Leonardo da Vinci painting lost over 500 years ago. Now, it's probably been in that art collection that the antique guy got it from. I can only guess, maybe centuries.
Well, what was the website that you bought the painting from?
It's this guy in Europe, and he goes out to all the estates in Europe, the wealthy estates, and buys things from those wealthy estates. When for this particular incident, I think that the fellow passed away from old age, and the antique dealer happened to be at the right place at the right time. And I follow him because he sells amazing things. And that particular day, I had just gotten that $10,000 in my hand, right? And I was thinking, I want to reinvest some of this money and make more money with it. So I saved up all my pennies in addition to that and managed to buy that painting from him. And I didn't know, and he didn't know it was going to be a major painting. I mean, I only suspected it was done by a major hand, like I said. Later on, I took it to the Antiques Roadshow appraisal guy, and he said he was blown away by it. In his entire career, he said he was actually shaking when he held it. In his entire career, he's never held anything that valuable. That's
Were
what he
you
told me.
were you on Antiques Roadshow with this painting?
I was in the Nashville one at the event he was holding over there. And that's when he told me all that stuff. And that's when I started suspecting it was something very major, you know. So I started doing research after that, and I started contacting Da Vinci experts from around the world. And that's when I contacted the one out west. He quoted me, "That's quite a gem you have there," and I quote, "and I will back you at any major auction that you have." And I know, ironically, 2 weeks later, I lose my phone with his contact information. I'm crying a tear in my beer, so to speak.
Hey, why contact me via LinkedIn versus like Christie's or Sotheby's?
Christie's or Sotheby's won't even hear me. They won't even listen. They
What,
won't even hear me or listen. It's just
what
like,
do you
yeah,
mean?
if you ain't got the papers for it, then we won't even hear you. So they would. I asked the fella who sold it to me to give me the papers. I was fully expecting to get them, and he never gave them. And I'm thinking right now, even now, that he just didn't have them, that the family was unable to find them to give to him. So I don't have the papers for it.
So you
But
have a
I do have the record from where I bought it online.
yeah, but what about that Salvador Del Mundi or something like that? I mean, I suppose where were the papers for that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if you come across, I mean, none of these paintings, like a Velasquez that you found in the mud after like the war, none of these things are going to have papers.
Right. The papers are long lost, right?
Hmm.
So this painting must have been in their collection for centuries, and I don't have any idea why, but I'm thinking they probably just couldn't find them. That when that old fellow passed away, they just couldn't find where he put the papers.
Can you tell me the name of the family?
Yeah, he didn't reveal that to me. He just was like, yeah, he bought it from a European wealthy estate. That's all I
So
know.
an estate person,
In
a
Europe,
person who goes around and purchases estates and then sells them online.
he goes to the wealthy estate sales across Europe and sells them online to double his money, and he doesn't even care what they're worth, kind of a thing, because he just what he does. He does that for a living. He just wants to double his money every time. And
What's the
I was
what's the
happy to
name?
pay him.
You
What's
just
this?
gave somebody $10,000 for a painting that you liked?
I really liked the painting very much because I thought it was a major painting.
The what's the name of the auction?
Okay, I would have to look that information up and and
Yeah.
tell you the fellow's name. I can get his name.
If you could get his name and like text it to me.
Yeah,
So you've talked to a lot of experts, you've talked to auctioneers, you've talked to appraisers,
right.
and nobody is able to help you move a painting.
Nobody's able to help me move the painting for whatever wacky reason.
So what do you need from me?
I just need help getting the proper value out of the painting.
Mhm.
Just let's get if we need to get the papers. I don't have any money. I've already spent everything just to try to get these paintings. So let's see what can be done to get these in the proper auction.
What you sent to me was a digital image that didn't look like a painting. It was like a digital image. Where's the painting?
I have it in the bank vault.
And so you need to get the
I just
painting
need
back out, and then we take it to places and
right.
get it appraised and authenticated by experts. Have any of the experts seen the physical painting?
Yeah, the Antiques Roadshow fella held it in his hand, and that's when he said he was shaking. Yeah,
And
he was shaking when he held it because he found out it was a long lost Leonardo, in his opinion. And I've still got his card. You could call him and talk to him about it.
what's his name?
His name is Sam Holden.
Where's he at?
He hangs out around Nashville because that's I live near there. So I was like they were holding an appraisal event that day, and I wish I had filmed it because I would have had it on film.
Well, what did
About
he say? What did he say about unloading a painting like that? How do you get rid of a painting like that? He gave you no suggestion?
he gave me information of this lady, and the lady was gonna help me, and then she just ended up not helping me for whatever reason. I couldn't figure that out. She was supposed to help me and wouldn't, just either wouldn't or didn't, and it just went nowhere. So I just need to find a way to get. I've got two different paintings, and the other one I think is probably a David Tenner's the younger, and it's a large painting and a Dutch master painting,
Yeah, you
and
said
it's probably worth $4 to $6 million if I was guessing.
okay. Well, you've sent me the images. I work off of YouTube. We're gonna set the video up, and I'm gonna use the video to contact the appropriate people, and we'll work together. So
Okay, great.
might have to do
That,
another interview in the future, and then at some point I'll probably have to
fine.
come to Kentucky and
That's fine.
get
I
my
just
hands
don't
on
have
it.
I don't have any upfront money. I spent everything just to acquire the paintings.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
let's see where we go. So
Okay.
yeah, well, give me a week, and then I'll contact you again.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Okay. Thank you, Benjamin.
Appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Don't forget to follow Melchor Moore on YouTube.